Hey climbers, Brent here. Are you ready to write your best songs ever? Are you ready to take that next step in your songwriting journey? Well, I want to help you with that. Listening to the C.L.I.M.B podcast is a great way to get started on your songwriting journey and to learn the basics about the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting. But eventually, you're probably going to need the personal touch. You're probably going to need some one-on-one feedback, some advice, and some help reaching your songwriting goals. And that's what I want to help do for you. I want to help you write your best songs ever. And I want to help you learn the art, the craft, and the business of songwriting, of how to turn pro in your mind and in your behavior before you ever turn pro on paper, before you ever have the awards to hang on the wall. I want to give you the mindsets and the skills to earn that stuff. And so we'll dive into your questions and I'll give you honest answers. And I can help repair your song if it's already written but has a couple bugs and has some opportunities to get better. Or we can help prepare your song if you have an idea, a notion, a title. We can do your own private song title challenge if you want. If you want to get ready for a co-write, if you have a meeting coming up and you want to get your stuff locked down where it's the best it can be, I'm happy to help you do that as well. You can see my calendar, get all the details, and actually book a session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. That is songwritingpro.com/coaching. Now, if you're still not sure if a coaching session with me is the right thing for you, let's listen to what this climber had to say about their session.
The first time I met with Brent was an hour session, face-to-face on Skype. I was pretty excited to have the opportunity for some back and forth discussion about my songs, because up until then I had been pressing send on the computer and waiting for days for a written general critique. With the written critiques, I was finding that sometimes I was left trying to interpret them on my own and then comb through what I know to fix what I thought they were getting at. But Brent provided real-time interactive feedback based on a solid and deliberate method. It didn't feel random and definitely didn't feel like judgment. In the end, I went away with solution-based critique that made perfect sense to me. I remember being a little worried about wasting time in my session trying to think of every question that I might have so that I could make the very most of it. But once he dove in, and it's kind of a magical thing to witness, his brain just turns and churns until every nook and cranny of that song has been considered, and I just wasn't left with many questions at all. The best thing after my session was just being able to see a clear path ahead and feeling also like my own brain is clicking a whole bunch faster after trying to keep up with his crazy acrobatic ninja fighter type brain. So I highly recommend sessions with Brent.
Song Title Challenge.
All right, welcome to another Song Title Challenge. Climbers, this is where the question is, how would you write this one? This is where listeners of the podcast send in their song titles to info@daredevilproduction.com. You put Song Title Challenge in the subject line. Once again, info@daredevilproduction.com. You can send in as many as you want, and then I spring them live to Brent on the podcast. And we try to mimic what happens in a professional songwriting session for the first 15 minutes, where you cook up maybe 5 or 6 different conceptual approaches to writing the lyric with that song title to make sure that you're headed down the right road. Sometimes the most obvious road is the best way to go, but a lot of times it's not. And this is just a great way to moving forward on your songs to make sure that you're writing the best possible lyrics in the best possible angle. But also it's an amazing tool to revive some of your old titles that maybe feel like a little wilted lettuce, like they've been there for too long. You don't look at them anymore because it was 4 years ago. But if you do a song title challenge exercise on it yourself, you might come up with a new angle that'll breathe new life into that, new energy into that, and go and get yourself a song from a killer title idea that you had years ago. So It's a very fun, creative exercise. It's not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. So you can use none of what we present or all of what we present. It's up to you. We just require that you invite us to the number one party, right?
If you'd be so kind, we sure enjoy them.
That's right. So are you ready for this week's challenge?
No, but go ahead.
All right. So this is from climber Gary McDonald.
Gary McDonald, like had a farm?
No, like McDonnell, Donnell.
McDonald. Okay, cool.
So this is the first time I think he's ever sent in a song title, which is cool.
Batting 1,000.
And
All right.
here's his title is King of Spades.
Okay.
King of Spades.
King of Spades. All right, thanks, Gary, for sending this in. Well, obviously, this is about a vet who does spade neutering, and so he's really good at his job. And, you bring your cat in, and it won't have kittens anymore because it's the king of... No, that's probably not what it should be. It's about a guy that sells shovels. Isn't that another name for a shovel, like a spade? So probably not about a hardware store guy. King of Spades. That's interesting, right? She's the queen of diamonds. She's the king of spades. But why spades, right? Why that?
Yeah. King of Spades in most card games is the high card, the very high ace of aces, right?
Oh, okay.
It's the highest ace, typically. Not all card games. I play some weird stuff called Sheep's Head, which is very much a German, Wisconsin kind of a thing. And
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that before.
Spades is not the case there. But for most of them, King of Spades is the high card in poker. In bridge, I believe, like in most card games, the ranking, Spades is the highest suit.
Okay. Good to know because I don't play enough cards to know that. So that's good to know. Which is also why co-writing is helpful because they are guaranteed to have information you do not, and vice versa. Which leads me to Queen of Diamonds or Queen of Hearts looking for the King of Spades. So you kind of wrap it in this card metaphor, gambling kind of thing. Or he's the King of Spades looking for the Queen of Hearts. It makes more sense to me that she is looking for the King of Spades because if that's the highest card, like the highest king, she's looking for the best. Then she's looking for the best. Instead of saying he's the very best looking for his girl, she's looking for the man, right?
Yeah.
Which makes a little more sense.
She's looking for her person.
The king of spades, like the guy, the top guy. That's who she's looking for. The danger in that is, like, I didn't know that King of Spades is the high king. The song would have to make that self-evident. Otherwise, it's going to kind of bounce off me and not connect as much that, oh, she's looking for the best of the guys. I just wouldn't get that. And I'd be like, why spade? Why not King of Diamonds and buy her a diamond? Or,
Right.
Why isn't he the King of Hearts?
But I think it's an okay road to go down. I mean, there's been a lot of gambling songs that are specific to cards that are sufficiently popular. So,
Yeah.
I think enough people understand. Actually, Ace of Spades is the highest card. King of Spades.
Which makes me think it's the guy because it's a king. It's a male card. It's
Right.
the queen is looking for a king kind of thing. The danger for that is, just like you said, there have been so many card analogous metaphorical songs that what new are you going to bring to the table that's still universal enough if your goal is to have a hit that enough people are going to get it, but yet it's not worn out, right?
So I have two ideas.
Yes.
A friend of mine from the Allman Brothers is the harmonica player, Tommy Doucette. He's on Fillmore East. I mean, he was the guy, like, Greg and Dwayne grew up with him. Mm-hmm. They go way back. Well, everybody knows about the Allman Brothers. They had their trials and tribulations with foreign substances, and Tommy Doucette's nickname was always Ace. They called him Ace. Why? Because he was the high card all the time. That's one way you could go. Now, the other thing I thought with King of Spades, because it is King of Spades, not Ace of Spades, but what if it's like a blue-collar song about a good man who cares about his family, and this guy's like digging ditches for a living? He's the King of Spades.
Well, there's that shovel thing I kind of talked about earlier, the guy that's selling them, which is kind of silly. Spade is an odd word for shovel, right? King of shovels. Because I was also thinking that we're going to need a shovel because the BS is getting so deep in here. He's always shoveling some BS. You know?
There you go, yeah.
He thinks he's the King of Hearts. He's just the King of Spades, dude. He's just shoveling a line of bull. So that could be
good.
a thing, too, which, you might miss.
That could be funny, upbeat and funny.
It's silliness, right? You ain't going to get this Queen of Hearts just being a King of Spades. But that's still kind of a reach. How do you say that succinctly, that it's like you're shoveling BS? And will enough people get that a spade is another word for a shovel? It's a bit of a reach, right? It's more than maybe than I'd want to reach. You could do the story song, the gambling addiction or whatever. He lost his Queen of Hearts because he's trying to be the King of Spades. The gambler that got caught up and it was a problem kind of thing. He lost the girl over it or that sort of thing,
Yeah, he's a degenerate gambler.
Yeah, exactly. He's addicted. It's got a hold of him and it cost him his girl. Of course, this is a time where I'm just brainstorming, so there's no wrong answers. But who was it? It was Jamie Johnson, Dierks Bentley, and Miranda Lambert. It was Bad Angel. It was off Dierks' Up on the Ridge, I think, album, his bluegrass record, but they did a trio kind of thing. And there's a verse about gambling. I was like, yeah, what if the devil's the king of spades?
Oh.
And it would depend on, maybe you get away with it like in the bluegrass kind of thing, where it's like a morality tale. You know, it's going to be genre dependent. And it almost sounds like the devil, the king of spades. It's not the hearts. He's not diamonds. It's a spade, you know? And yeah, it's ominous. It's dark, almost shaped like a devil's tail or a horn.
Who it is, like a devil's tail kind of.
Yeah. And maybe the gambler, you know, lost his girl, lost everything because he was chasing that king of spades or whatever. Or the king of spades always wins, which is not literally true because ace of spades is higher. But if there's some way you could kind of do that where the devil's the king of spades. So it's like a gambling morality tale.
What if it's not the king of spades? Maybe it's a conversation about a guy who's getting to a girl and they're kind of falling in love, but she's got this relationship she's been in and he's the king of spades. And so it's like an internal dialogue of comparing yourself to that, where maybe I'm just a lucky number 7, but he's the king of spades and maybe he doesn't treat her right. Maybe he's this toxic relationship that she needs to get out of and you're something else. But you're not the king of spades. Maybe you could spin it that way. Doesn't have to mean like it's a good thing.
Or even like he thinks he's got it made. He's a king of spades, but he doesn't know she's got an ace up her sleeve. He's a high card, that's for sure.
You could make that a cheating song.
Yeah, exactly. Thinks he's got it made, like he's high card king of spades, but he didn't know she got an ace up her sleeve.
That's a good one.
That could be a thing, too, about gambling. And that whole deal's a gamble, right? Running around behind somebody's back and... that's all risky, and so it's kind of a gamble. So that could be a thing, too.
Ooh, on that note, first of all, we can talk about gambling without talking about cards. Like going down the clever card reference things where you're going to go and become cheesy. By the way, the king of spades is not the high card in the deck. It's the ace of spades.
Right, exactly. That's why she has an ace up her sleeve. That trumps the king, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Or you're vulnerable, like, I'm only the king of spades, but what if she's going to hurt me?
Yeah.
What if she's going to break my heart? But then sometimes you just got to take a risk. You just got to roll the dice, and you could bring some poker references in there with, like, the turn and the flop and stuff like that. It's getting a little specific, but that could be cool, too.
Yeah. You know, if you take your girl for granted, think you got it made, like, hey, king of spades, you think you got it made, but you got to watch out. Somebody's going to have an ace up his sleeve. So take care of your queen of hearts. There's that kind of thing, almost more of a cautionary, where the singer's like, hey, you better take good care of your woman. You better love on your baby, you know?
Yeah.
Because otherwise some dude's going to come along with an ace up his sleeve, and she's going to be gone if you don't treat her right.
Now, what could you do cleverly with comparing yourself to the other kings in the deck? The king of diamonds, the king of hearts, the king of clubs.
Yeah.
And you put a personality towards them, but you're the king of spades, and why is that different, and why is that cool? Why is that better for her?
I mean, you think king of hearts would be the best because I'm the lover, I'm the romantic, I'm the true love. King of clubs could be like a good time party guy going out to the club.
Yeah.
King of diamonds is a rich guy.
Sugar daddy, yeah. So what if the king of hearts is like a player?
Maybe so, yeah. Maybe he's a player. Yeah, there's a way to twist that negative.
This could be a girl song. Like, I want a king of spades. I want a guy who's going to be hardworking, work ethic, and put me above all else and be the good guy. Because that's king of spades is a shovel, and that means work. But he could be working not only like hardworking on the job, whatever job he has, but also on them, on their relationship.
That's interesting. The challenge would be to make that clear what spades means and why that's spades.
Yeah.
Because the king of clubs is just some guy that goes out all the time. You're getting drunk or whatever. Diamonds, I don't care. He thinks he can buy my love. I'm not interested in that stuff. So, yeah, the spades is kind of the blue collar, I guess.
Yeah.
Willing to dig deep.
I think you would set that up in the chorus. Like, he's a blue collar man. He's a hardworking, not afraid to get his hands dirty.
Or even like I got the king of spades, king of clubs and king of all this stuff. You can go on. I got the king of spades. Blue collar man, shovel in his hand, bringing it on home and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah. I don't need an ace when I got the king of spades.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It could be something like where your girlfriends or your family were telling you that you could do better.
Yeah.
Maybe because he doesn't make enough money or something, but you're happy and you're treated like a queen.
Yeah.
Ha-ha!
Yeah.
There you go. That just happened.
There you go. Yep. That makes it a thing. And it would work for like kind of a countryer thing because he's more blue collar.
Yeah.
So that could be cool. I don't do a lot of card titles because they're just really hard to...
We got a bunch of looks at it already.
We got a bunch
brother.
of looks at it, though. Is there something else, that maybe a deeper kind of thing, like King of Spades? I mean, I guess the gambling addiction is definitely a deep thing and heavy.
Playing off the king and the queen, or the king and the ace. I think we've hit both of those. We've hit a lot of different ways to kind of look at this. I think that McDonald needs to decide how he wants to write it. Which one of those are resonating with him?
It could be a freaking truck driver song, and in some of the trucking lines or something, the spade is like the symbol, or it could just be what he's got on his decal stuff, for his truck or his motorcycle, his chopper. And so that could be like his vehicle, his semi.
Oh, yeah, it could be something descriptive.
So you can kind of paint that picture of how his cab's painted with the King of Spades on it, rolling down the highway kind of thing. And that's almost like his CB handle. It could be the guy with the motorcycle, the chopper, that has the card theme on it, and he's rolling down the road with the King of Spades. You could get more out like that.
Yeah, you fell in love with the King of Spades. Like, you could talk about different situations where your paths kind of crossed if this is a girl song. And you know how when you don't know somebody right off the bat, you kind of give them like a nickname, and everybody just called him the King of Spades because that's what was on his motorcycle.
Yeah, it could be a name of a club, down at the King of Spades.
There you go.
And then just what happens there. What happens down at the King of Spades. And so it's not even so much the whole lot of card metaphor, but that's the name of the bar.
The Double Deuce.
Double Deuce. Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
That was a great second win, man. That was killer, bro.
Got to keep twisting. Then it really opens it up to story songs, to character studies, to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So if McDonald wants to work on this with you privately, what can he do?
Yeah, Gary, and for all of you climbers out there, I do private consulting. I do song feedback. I can help you prepare your song. I can help you repair your song, answer questions about the music business, the art, the craft, the business of songwriting, all that good stuff. But you can get all the details. You can see my calendar, and you can book your own session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. Or if you just go to songwritingpro.com, look under the tabs, you'll find coaching. You can go under there. Not only that, but we are staffing up. There are 4 of us that will do coaching sessions. We have Jen Schott, who's had cuts by Tim McGraw, Eli Young Band, and others, Mickey Guyton. We have Steve Dean, he's coming on board. We just did a Know the Pro with him at the time this comes out. But he had a multi-week #1 with Rodney Atkins called Watching You. So multi-hit country songwriter. And we also have Bill White, who's had cuts by like Ray Stevens. He's a Hall of Fame DJ. He's a radio personality. He does a lot of comedy songs, Cletus T. Judd, and also I wrote Crickets with him and Lisa Schaefer for Joe Nichols. So he's at country, and he's signed to a bluegrass deal. So there are 4 of us on there. You just pick whoever floats your boat. If it's not me, it's one of them. And so all that is under songwritingpro.com/coaching.
Killer. Well, there you go, guys. Once again, send in your song titles to info@daredevilproduction.com and put Song Title Challenge in the subject line. This podcast exists because we want you to win, so keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.